Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. First of all, before I get into the transfer rumours, the game yesterday against Crystal Palace, mixed emotions on it. I truly do believe that had we have stuck or kept, should I say, 11 men on the pitch, I just think eventually we would have went on to win that game. Aubameyang, he went from hero to zero, didn't he? He scored a great goal, great flowing move. And we looked so good at the start of that game. I was starting to think to myself, you know what? Our fancy is today. I think we're going to get a few here. And then, I don't know, we just went back into our shell a little bit. Palace grew into the game. They made it really difficult. It was really congested and tight. And they got one back. And then, of course, Aubameyang got sent off. But then even after that, you know, we hit the post, we looked dangerous, and had we had the full 11 on the pitch, I don't know, I just get the feeling we might have went on to win the game. But certainly Mikel Arteta, again, another tick for me in his box, because I just feel that last year, down to 10 men, they would have been all over us. We would probably have capitulated and lost the game. So at least we got out of there in the end with a point, and we could look back at it and say, you know what? At least we took a point out of the game when we were down to 10 men. But we will be missing Aubameyang now for 3 games, including the Chelsea game. Doesn't look like we'll be trying to bring anybody in, though, to cover, Aubameyang. We do still have Lacazette. There's Martinelli. He looked very impressive when he come on. So we're covered in that area. But we do know that there are other areas of the pitch that definitely we still look a bit short in. And Arteta was questioned on transfers, as he is now, after every game, in every press conference. And still, he's really trying to play things down. Still talking about, his main priority is getting the best out of the players that he's got, which is very true. And if he finds anything that can, help us to get through to the end of the season, which is another word he keeps using, he will go and do that, which implies that they're looking a lot at loan deals, maybe not specifically at permanent deals. Probably Arsenal are more likely to do a couple of loan deals this January transfer window than something permanent. Although if something comes up that's too good to be true, then maybe they might, take a dip for that. But they've been linked today with a midfielder who was once dubbed, and I always hate these words, dubbed, because, everyone gets dubbed this and dubbed that. But he was dubbed the new Ozil. He's Turkish and he plays for AC Milan. His name is Hakan Kahangolu. Probably pronounced that wrong. Apologies to all Turkish watchers right now, and I'm sure they'll put me right in the comments. But he plays for AC Milan, 25, so good age. And as I said, once really highly thought of and dubbed the new Mesut Ozil. A lot of that was because of the fact that obviously he's a real playmaker of a footballer. He was playing his football over in Germany started off at Hamburg. Then he went to Bayer Leverkusen and was really tearing up the Bundesliga. Moved to AC Milan in 2017. And since his move to Milan, it really hasn't worked out. He's playing. He played in the 2-0 win yesterday over Calgary, which incidentally Ibrahimovic played in and scored a good goal in his first game back. How ironic. But, he played in that game, but he hasn't hit it off out there. And AC Milan are said to be willing to let him go out on loan. And that, of course, has alerted Arsenal. Arsenal looking for cover in that area. I mean, it wasn't a great game from Mesut Ozil. He has been playing well since he's come back. Since Mikel Arteta's taken over for Arsenal, but it wasn't a great showing for Ozil yesterday. And the talk is that Arsenal would consider doing this loan from now till the end of the season. Bit of a strange one for me, because I just look at it and think, in that sort of area, number one, Ozil's a guy, his fitness is normally good. He doesn't really get injured a lot. So if this guy came in, how much would he play? And then I just look and I think there's other areas that are more of a priority. You've got guys like Dani Ceballos who could fill in that Ozil position. You've got, a Guendouzi you could put there, or a Xhaka you could push further forward, I suppose. And that. So a bit of a strange one that we'd be looking at another sort of playmaker. Unless he was to sort of play deeper, I don't know. But Arsenal said to be very interested in this loan move for this player from AC Milan. Also being linked today with the Watford defender, Christian Kabasele. Now, Kabasele, now 28. He's a centre-back, of course. I'm sure you guys will be aware of him. Good player. I wouldn't describe him as a top centre-back or anything from what I've seen, but a good, solid player. Obviously, he knows the Premier League well. He joined Watford from Genk over there in Belgium in 2016 for around about, I think it's around about £6 million they paid for him. Watford, they tend not to disclose the full amount of these deals. And there's a lot of rumours that he's available. And there's lots of clubs looking at him. West Ham are said to be very, very interested in him. Manchester United have been linked with him. Of course, they got the injury to Harry Maguire. They're said to be interested in him as well. And so are we, Arsenal. Now, whether we're being linked with him just because we're sort of short in that area of centre-back, I don't know. As I said, Kabasele, he's a decent player, you know what I mean? Fairly quick, athletic, quite tall, 6'2", decent player. But is it the type of centre-back that Arsenal need? I see it as highly unlikely. Also, I see it as highly unlikely that Watford would get rid of him. Remember, Watford are in a real relegation battle at the moment, and they're doing really well at the moment under Nigel Pearson, looking like they might be able to get out of it. And Kabasele is going to be a really important player in managing to keep them up. And as I was saying about Aston Villa the other day, these teams, they don't want to be selling players when they need to try and survive. So, I don't know, I just see it as highly unlikely that, number one, Kabasele is the type of player that Arsenal need, and number two, that Watford will sell him. But the links are out there today, and I just think a lot of that's more to do with the fact that everybody knows we need a centre-back. And then there's the goalkeeper link I spoke about yesterday, Ionut Radu of Inter Milan. He's Romanian, 22 years of age. Again, the links continue today with Arsenal being linked with him, and quite a few other clubs again. But Arsenal said to be interested in the young stopper. He's very highly rated. Inter Milan said to not really want to sell him anyway. So if Arsenal did want to get him, it would cost a lot of money. And again, I look on it and I say to myself, well, goalkeeper. We got Bernd Leno. He's obviously the number one. And the number two we got is pretty handy as well. You know what I mean? We got a good number two in Martinez, who's when he stood in, every time he's done brilliantly. He's played really well in the Europa League and the FA Cup and League Cup. I think if there was an injury to Bernd Leno, he'd be more than an able deputy. He's been at the club for a long time. So I don't know. Listen, there's a lot of rumours that happen at this time of year, where basically I've kind of explained this before, it's twofold. The media will just say, oh, it's centre-backs, possibility that he might leave. Who needs a centre-back? Oh, Arsenal need a centre-back because, everybody knows they're after a centre-back. Man United need a centre-back because Harry Maguire's injured, so they might, and they do the links themselves. Then there's other links that occur, which is sometimes done by the agent. The agent's trying to get a new deal so let's just say a Kabasele, right? And I'm not saying that this is the facts. I'm saying that this is hypothetical. Kabasele's agent might be like, I'm trying to get a new deal for Kabasele. Let's put it out there that Arsenal are interested, Leicester are interested, Man United are interested. That forces the hand of Watford to offer him a better deal. It gets fans of these clubs possibly excited and saying, oh, why don't we go for him? So these are little tricks that are done behind the scene, both by sometimes media outlets and sometimes they're done by agents. Sometimes agents fueling the media outlets to get these rumours out there. So that's kind of how it works. Sometimes it can be true. Sometimes it can be fake. The Kabasele one, I just can't see it for Arsenal. The Ionut Radu one, I just can't see it for Arsenal. But they're rumours, and that's what we do on this show. We talk about transfer rumours. And finally, couple here. Mustafi, not even in the squad yesterday again. Seems to be fairly obvious that Arsenal are looking to move him on and trying to prevent him from getting injured in any way. So I'm expecting Mustafi to probably go out. Still the links with him and Galatasaray continue. And also Arsenal being linked to a youngster today, plays for Rangers. His name is called Leon King. He's a defender. And he must be really talented, this kid, because when I looked at the amount of clubs after him, we're after him, Manchester City are after him, Leicester are after him, Chelsea are after him. So all these clubs are after him. He's only 15. So, and obviously Rangers want to hold on to him. So, let's see what happens with that one. Obviously, he'd be a player that would be just going into the youth setup if we were to get hold of him. But wow, the world's his oyster at the moment. Every club, every top club, here seem to be chasing him. RB Leipzig as well. That's another club after him. So, he's got the pick right now. So, I'd like to be his agent. Listen, thanks for watching the show today. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, here on Transfer Daily. Have yourself a wonderful day. It was a draw yesterday. Not the greatest, another draw, but listen, at least we showed a bit of steel, went down to 10 men.